welcome to a continuing segment of the Digital Agency Growth Podcast that I like to call Best of LinkedIn. No, not the meme account that makes fun of really cringy LinkedIn takes, although some of my takes might be cringy. These are basically the posts that I've put out, the content that I've put out that has gotten the most engagement and the most conversation over the last X months. So let's dig right into it. This is one that I posted a little while ago. I'm just going to be reading. So my face is on screen in the YouTube or the on-screen version if you want to stare at me reading. Most of us just put this stuff on pause anyway, or put the visual on pause and just do other things. But if you're a psycho that wants to look at my face reading, it is available to you. So anyway, agency owners, how many times have you been on the receiving end of an awkward referral pitch? You know the one, if you send clients our way, we'll give you 10% of every deal. Then you smile and nod while considering ways to either end the call and or acquire a sharp object with which to stab yourself. If I'm being honest, I and most owners I know have been on a few of these pitches as well at various times on both sides of the table. The commission pitch is annoying for a few reasons. Number one, most of us have 1,000 revenue generating ideas we don't have time to implement. Sending our clients your way for a few revenue points is a galaxy away from this list. Number two, there's no trust yet. The potential downside of annoying or hurting a client with an untested party outweighs the commission by an order of magnitude. 3, the pitch before any question of how can I help you reads as selfish and further erodes trust. Number 4, everyone is different, and depending on their scope, some partners don't want the perceived conflict of interest imposed by a commission structure. But this does not mean they won't make intros if they think you could help their client. Number 5, we're all busy. Even if the trust and commission is enticing, there's a ton of work in identifying and making intros. Most commission pitchers don't go out of their way to reduce this work. So let's say you want to build a profitable partnership program after establishing one of these commission structures. What do? Number 1, ask how you can help the other person and listen intently. If you can't, then be honest about it and move on if necessary. Number 2, build trust by positioning yourself as a future resource to the person that you're going to be introduced to, not selling your services. Number 3, make the process easy on others by asking for specific intros and providing copy-paste templates instead of doing the thing that most people do, which is saying, do you know anyone? Which creates tons of work for the other person. And number 4, position your commission as icing on the cake, not the cake itself, because that's how it's usually going to feel to the other person until you're actually rocking and rolling with a full-on strategic partnership where the leads are coming all the time. Agency owners, would you rather hit your monthly revenue target with 2 sales calls or 5? Most would say 2. We're all busy, and who doesn't want to achieve the same outcome in less time? But that's the wrong answer. The agency that gets by on too few sales conversations tends to lose the plot. This is the low data agency. When I talk to owners of low data agencies, those surviving mostly on reactive referrals and organic leads, they're clouded by recency bias. The low data agency swings emotionally with every win or loss, and usually it's the latter, since we're all wired for loss aversion. Their startup prospect bails at the 11th hour over pricing. So they say, we should sell to bigger companies. Then a big company drags them through weeks of procurement red tape before ghosting. So they say, we should focus on startups. They move fast and speak our language. Pricing and ICP changes are easy to make, relatively speaking, but have far-reaching effects, and results take months to play out. So they should be based on patterns, not single anecdotes, even if you can't get the same geyser of data that a consumer business might have. So how does a low data agency get better? For most, the answer is simple. Lose more deals more quickly and with less emotion. That means talking to more right fit prospects and making more offers even when timing or conditions aren't perfect. It also means shedding false confidence about your closing ability, which usually comes from too small of a sample size if you're used to referrals and organic leads. So cue Jeff Foxworthy, you might be a low data agency if you've said this line in the last 30 days. Once we're in the room, we tend to close very well. Anyway, that was an okay Jeff Foxworthy. I give myself a B-. Finally, when it comes to bottom of funnel optimization, it means qualifying better and having the emotionally difficult money conversations sooner. If you've never had a sales coach or outsider review a recording of one of your calls, and especially if that idea makes you cringe, you probably need it most. And in the LinkedIn post, I have tagged my friend Jody Sutter, who is one of the best people I know at this. So definitely encourage you to check out Jody. This all might sound tough, but it's the only way I've seen agencies agencies build a reliable new business system that can eventually support a non-owner salesperson. This post is about going from reactive to proactive. So agency owners, below are a few truths we've learned from helping agencies take the biz dev process from reactive to proactive. Number one, building a lead gen system that moves the needle is solving a hard entrepreneurial problem. Be skeptical of any system or methodology that doesn't require direct involvement from owners. Number two, lead gen is important. By hook or by crook, it's someone's full-time job. Number three, hiring a salesperson before you have a system that's producing results can be disastrous, sort of like if you hired a driver to engineer you a Formula One race car. Number three, ultimately, your agency will be better at getting leads than any outside party because you care more and your finger is on the pulse. Number four, more than just winning new clients, going from reactive to proactive means developing new skills. Number five, you will see your full sales cycle instead of the tail end of it that you're experiencing right now via referrals, organic inbound leads, or RFPs. Number six, as part of this process, you will shine a floodlight on the good, bad, and ugly parts of your value proposition, so be ready for that. Number seven, you will build more clarity about your ideal clients, even if you're already specialized and think you understand them. Number eight, your head trash and assumptions are not your prospects. You do not share a hive mind with them. Here's one on one of our favorite topics, specialization. So agency owners, does specializing ever seem like a radical departure from the norm? Well, historically speaking, it's not. In the 1930s, the agency Benton and Bowles, or Bowles, I'm not sure, created a radio soap opera called As the World Turns. So they could sell ads largely to one client, which was P&G, a big client, who were looking to reach female homemakers. So if creating a show aimed at one specific audience, or even just one client, buying a specific category of products doesn't constitute winning through specialization, I don't know what does. We often talk about how the lines are getting blurrier between content producers, agencies, and technology companies, but for most innovative and forward-thinking firms, the lines have always been blurry in a good way. The best painters, musicians, comedians talk about how constraints open up the most creativity, and same rules apply when agencies narrow. So with this, giving a hat tip to Stephen Wesner and Drew McClellan, who talked about the Benton and Bowles example in their great book, Sell with Authority. So with specialization in mind, you'll notice that almost all the posts start with the word agency owners, or they contain that phrase in the very first line so that you know you're in the right place. So agency owners, do you want to make pipeline reliable in the next 6 months? I have one very simple piece of advice. Go run a crappy outbound campaign. Ship on it in 7 days and make everything, targeting, copy, tech stack, just good enough, if not worse. Here's why. Number one, perfectionism and failure to launch is a much more common roadblock than any other issue we see. That's from clients and prospects that we talk to over the course of years. Number two, if most of your business comes from organic referrals, your assumptions about your market are likely to be at least a little bit off, kind of like that ship that has to sail from Europe to New York and they're a few degrees off, so then they end up in Venezuela. So spending weeks building a perfect campaign based on a few degrees off assumptions, or worse, never shipping at all, like point one, is a huge waste. Number three, most prospects, like all of us, are busy and forget how they find vendors and solutions. Your mediocrely targeted email or LinkedIn message will get forwarded, maybe sat on for a while, and then acted upon in the hazy, uncertain way that defines how buying cycles actually happen. But that only can occur if you ship to begin with. Number four, per the last point, the downside of getting things wrong is usually much less than most people are worried about. So eventually you will ship on a great campaign based on data and specific optimizations, but until then, ship on a crappy one. So here's one on intent data. So understandably, as agency owners, biz dev people, we all want to know who is actively buying the services that we sell. It makes sense that we would want to know this. But this creates a massive opportunity for intent data and software companies to give us what we think we want. But as Robert Rose once argued, a buyer is not a person, it's a state that a person goes through. So while we obviously need to suss out who is ready to buy via our sales process, many owners make the mistake of building their entire biz dev strategy on talking to buyers at the expense of everybody who is not at that state yet. So a few problems with over-optimizing for buyers and intent data. Number one, needles in haystacks. So most successful agencies are specialized, or if they're not, you might be in the process of getting more specialized as time goes on. 9 times out of 10, this means that your total addressable market is shrinking. It's getting smaller, and that's not always a bad thing. But if the pie gets sliced down to just those who are actively buying within that, usually like 1 to 3% of the market, you're left with a truly unsatisfying amount of pie. Number 2, de-risking conversations over pitching. So when selling comic book services to skeptical prospects, the scarce resource in our experience is not awareness or differentiation, it's trust. So the sales copy that might convert an active buyer will annoy the vast majority who are problem aware but not yet solution aware. Number 3, the trust catch-22. So when it comes to big, expensive, career-impacting decisions like hiring an agency where if it goes wrong, you might lose your job as a CMO, executives rely on those they've known for months and years. While you can use intent data to find that haystack needle, and maybe your buyer will ask you to throw your hat into the ring, most of the time they will hire the agency who they built the relationship with them a while ago. I can't tell you how many stories I've heard of this through the years where it's like, we spent all this time on this proposal, then they hired their friend from college, right? So that's the thing that happens. This is not a takedown on intent data or other tools that let you find buyers. You can throw them into the mix if you want, if they help you. But in our experience, they're not silver bullets, and it's more sustainable to build a system around relationship building, regardless of immediate business opportunity. It takes more patience, but so does everything worthwhile, and it's a lot simpler and honestly less time-consuming than making all the tech stack work at all times. Here's one that's a little bit touchy on boomers getting acquired. So agency owners, lately it seems like many of you, especially boomers and Gen Xers, have aims towards getting acquired and retiring within the next 3 to 5 years, let's say. The most common motivations I hear are retiring, like I talked about, side projects, increasingly AI related, and or burnout in the face of down years spanning roughly 2023 till now. So I guess this should be unsurprising. What is surprising is the lack of acquisition preparedness, even among owners who are savvy and regularly doing long-term planning. And I'm not an acquisitions expert, but I've talked to a lot of them, such as Jonathan Baker at Punctuation, Mark Scrivener, Spencer Gallagher, David Tobin, and many others. Jason Rosenbaum would be another. So 3 to 5 years is not a very long time for a big goal like getting acquired. If the owner is serious about this, they could start mapping those milestones that need to happen right now. I think this is kind of cool because instead of this really crazy spreadsheet work, it's kind of just these definitive milestones that will show you if another agency or whoever is ready to acquire you. So for example, Q1 2026, owner 100% out of fulfillment. Q4 2026, leads predictable enough to support salesperson. Q1 2027, salesperson closes first deal. Q3 2027, casual meetings booked with potential acquirers, something to that effect. So encountering those who have mapped this sort of thing out are rare. Instead, it's mostly numbers focused, something to the effect of, hey, if we get to X revenue and Y profit, we will be an attractive acquisition target. That's true, but the emphasis is on target, and those sort of numbers become table stakes. Making the acquisition actually happen, especially without a lengthy earnout or something that would make it just not attractive at all, means answering what exactly is this person buying. So getting answers to this question really kind of means figuring out those yes-no falsifiable milestones. And if that 3 to 5 year timeline is real, there's no time to waste. So I hope you've enjoyed this recurring segment of the Best of LinkedIn, and I look forward to catching you on the next episode.